Hi everyone, I'm a nutrition researcher and health educator based in Houston, Texas. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most debated topics in the world of nutrition: protein consumption. How much protein do you really need? Can eating too much protein damage your kidneys or raise your risk of cancer? Or are these just myths? You've probably heard both sides of the debate. If you don't eat enough protein, your muscles will shrink, your energy will crash, and your immune system will suffer. If you eat too much protein, your kidneys will fail, and you might even increase your cancer risk. So what's the actual scientific truth? Let's unpack the latest research, clear up the myths, and talk about real-world recommendations for everyday individuals, athletes, and older adults alike. 1. The essential role of protein in your body. Protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It's a fundamental building block of life. Every cell in your body contains protein, and it's involved in nearly every biological process that keeps you alive and healthy. Core functions of protein include building and maintaining muscle mass, supporting immune function, repairing damaged tissues and organ excreting essential enzymes, hormones, and neurotransmitter transfers oxygen through the bloodstream via hemoglobin, maintaining the health of skin, hair, and nails. If your diet lacks adequate protein, you may experience muscle wasting known as sarcopenia, increased fatigue, hair thinning, poor immunity, slower recovery from illness or injury, and even hormonal disruptions. This becomes even more critical with age. Older adults naturally lose muscle mass over time, so getting enough protein is crucial for preventing frailty, maintaining mobility, and reducing fall risk. 2. The fear: does a high-protein diet damage your kidneys? One of the most common concerns around protein consumption is that eating too much protein can overload your kidneys and lead to kidney disease. Where does this fear come from? When your body breaks down protein, it produces a waste product called ammonia, which is toxic. Your liver converts ammonia into a safer compound called urea, which is then excreted through urine via the kidneys. So yes, eating protein does increase the kidney's workload. But here's what matters. In healthy individuals with normal kidney function, clinical research has shown that high-protein diets do not harm the kidneys. Your kidneys naturally adapt to process higher amounts of nitrogen waste. In people with pre-existing kidney disease, a high-protein diet can worsen kidney function. These individuals should follow medical guidance and may need to reduce protein intake under professional supervision. Conclusion: if your kidneys are healthy, consuming a moderate to high amount of protein within the recommended range is safe. 3. Protein and cancer. What the science says about red meat: protein itself is not the enemy, but where you get your protein from matters. Studies have shown that eating excessive amounts of red and processed meats can increase your risk of certain types of cancer, especially colorectal cancer. What the research says: the World Health Organization, who classifies processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, and deli meats as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning they are known to cause cancer. Red meat, like beef, lamb, and pork, is classified as Group 2A, meaning it's probably carcinogenic to humans, especially when eaten in large amounts. Why is red meat a problem? Cooking meats at high temperatures, grilling, frying, broiling produces heterocyclic amines, HCA letters, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. These are chemical compounds that may promote cancer development. Processed meats often contain nitrates and nitrites, which can convert into cancer-causing compounds in the body. Note: the risk isn't about eating a steak every now and then. It comes from frequent, excessive consumption, particularly of processed meats. 4. How much protein do you really need per day? Your ideal protein intake depends on several key factors: your age, your sex, your activity level, your body composition goals, losing fat, building muscle, maintaining weight, any underlying health conditions. General guidelines for daily protein intake: sedentary adults, 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, approximately 0.36 grams per pound. Active individuals, 1.2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram, approximately 0.54 to 0.9 grams per pound. Strength athletes, bodybuilders, 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram, 0.72 to 1.0 grams per pound. Example, for a 150-pound 68 kilograms person, sedentary lifestyle, 55 grams of protein per day. Moderately active, 80 to 136 grams per day. Intense training or bodybuilding, 109 to 150 grams per day. It's best to spread this intake across multiple meals throughout the day to support muscle repair and optimize protein synthesis. 5. How much red meat is too much? You don't need to cut out red meat entirely, but moderation is critical. Recommended limits: no more than 18 ounces 500 grams of cooked red meat per week. Minimize or avoid processed meats altogether if possible. Health or protein alternatives to include poultry, chicken, turkey, fish and seafood, eggs, low-fat dairy, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, milk, plant-based proteins, beans, lentils, tofu, tempeh, edamame, nuts and seeds in moderation due to their calorie density. 6. What happens when you don't get enough protein? A diet that consistently falls short in protein can lead to a wide range of health problems, symptoms and consequences of low protein intake. Muscle wasting, especially in older adults, poor immune function, increased risk of infections, slower recovery from illness, injury or surgery, brittle nails and hair loss, swelling in the legs or feet due to low blood albumin, fatigue, weakness, and poor focus, hormonal imbalance. People at the highest risk of protein deficiency include older adults, age-related muscle loss is common, vegetarians or vegans not eating a diverse plant-based diet, athletes who don't adjust their intake for training needs, patients recovering from illness, surgery, or trauma. 7. What about athletes and high-protein diets? If you're an athlete or highly active person, especially someone doing strength training or endurance sports, you can safely consume more protein. In fact, higher protein intake supports muscle repair, recovery, and performance. For a 150-pound active person, you might need 110 to 150 grams of protein per day, depending on your training volume. Tips for athletes consuming higher protein: divide protein intake evenly across 3 to 6 meals. Snacks include protein within 60 minutes post-workout. For muscle recovery, stay well hydrated to support kidney function. Use a variety of protein sources, including plant-based proteins, to ensure nutrient diversity. 8. Does high protein intake harm healthy kidneys? Myth busted. Many large-scale studies have now disproved the myth that high protein harms kidneys in healthy individuals. What the research shows: a 2016 study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that healthy adults consuming up to 3.3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily showed no signs of kidney damage after 1 year. Increases in glomerular filtration rate, GFR, often cited as stress, are actually a normal adaptation to processing more protein, not a sign of harm unless you have diagnosed kidney disease. There's no strong evidence that high-protein diets are dangerous. 9. Smart ways to include protein in your diet are practical strategies to get enough protein without overdoing red meat or stressing your system. Prioritize lean protein sources like chicken breast, turkey, egg whites, and fish. Limit red meat to under 18 ounces per week. Avoid processed meats like hot dogs, pepperoni, and salami. Add plant-based proteins such as black beans, chickpeas, tempeh, and quinoa. Include protein-rich dairy, low-fat Greek yogurt, skim milk, cottage cheese. Space out your protein intake across all meals and snacks. Drink plenty of water to help your kidneys process protein waste products. Cook meat at moderate temperatures to reduce formation of HCA letters and PAs. 10. Final thoughts: protein is essential, but balance is everything. Protein is absolutely critical for life. It supports muscle health, immune defense, hormone production, and cellular repair. But remember, too little protein can lead to muscle loss, weakness, fatigue, and poor health. Too much protein, especially from processed or charred meats, may increase the risk of chronic diseases like cancer. Healthy kidneys can manage higher protein intakes without harm. Best practice: customize your intake to your activity level and health goals. Mix your protein sources: poultry, fish, dairy, eggs, legumes, nuts. Eat red meat in moderation. Hydrate well if you have kidney concerns. Consult a healthcare provider or dietitian. Bottom line, protein fuels your body. But just like anything else, more isn't always better. Aim for balance, quality, and variety, and you'll give your body exactly what it needs to thrive.